to another episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. Your boy, Captain Mal here.
Oh, snap. He did the snap. Your boy, T. Crawler.
He's out. Stop And today, we're bringing you our official review for Avengers Endgame. So, if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, fear not, because we're going to keep the first part of this review spoiler-free. We'll let you know when we're going to start spoiling the movie. Right now, we're just going to give overall thoughts and feelings. Weapon 2, how did this movie make you feel?
Oh man, it hit me in all the feels. It was the most amazing thing this 21 films going into this. This huge story arc that's never been done before with all these characters being built in continuity to this epic finale was amazing.
Yeah. T. Crawler?
I didn't like it. It sucked. No, I'm just playing. Of course I liked it. I mean, I've come across people that actually didn't like it. Blew my mind, pissed me off, but I'm gonna say that for another time. Anyway, I loved it. I thought, like you said,
I feel like you're getting heated. That might be it.
Yeah, I was getting heated. Oh yeah, it went on my list. They made my heated list. Just so you know. Anyway, so
Are these people we know?
We don't hang out with people like that.
Oh, are they just people on the internet?
the people that know that we do what we do, and they're like, hey, so what happened with Endgame? I'm like, what the hell do you mean? What happened with Endgame?
Do they like and subscribe?
No, so it doesn't.
Well, then fuck them. Fuck their opinions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, like got you in the feels. I mean, it was seriously emotional roller coaster. Like you're laughing, then you're like sad, and you're like tearing up, then you're laughing, then you're like angry at certain things that are happening. Not at the movie, just like the characters in the movie are doing things that are making you angry, and you're like on board with like what the Avengers would think. Like, oh man, this guy's pissing me off. Anyway, so really good movie. I mean, this was 11 years worth of story, man. It just, oh gosh, this was. What a way to end it.
Yeah, no, the movie was phenomenal. Going into it, I think if you're a fan of these movies and of comics in general, you weren't really worried about, will I like this? It's like, to what degree will I like this? Will this be a fitting closure to this amazing, unheard of, never done before story? Like they were saying, 21 movies, multiple characters, multiple sub-movies, everything leading up to this. And they were really advertising it as like the end of not like a phase in the MCU, but an end of an era. Like, you know, there were certain heroes going into this that we thought this might be their final movie for. We didn't know if they were going to end these stories, if they were going to give us proper closure. We didn't know how they were going to do it. How was it going to top Infinity War, which is an insane bar that they set for themselves just last year? Like, that movie was a landmark in itself. Yeah. Props to the marketing department, because those trailers didn't show shit. Like, those trailers and, like, the very few TV spots that they had only showed scenes from, like, the first half hour of the movie.
I
like,
didn't know. I didn't watch them.
Well, we saw 2 of the trailers, but those trailers...
I refuse to watch anything else.
Yeah, they didn't show anything, which is great, because, you know, the movie starts and, like, you're like, oh, wow, what the hell are they going to do now? Spoiler alert, not really. What they do is amazing. It's fantastic. It's pure magic. It's pure joy. This was more like watching a comic book come to life than any movie I've ever seen. There are certain things that happen on screen, and I'm just like, this is a splash page. Like, this is when you turn the page, and it's like just one shot of like awesomeness. It made me feel like I was a 10-year-old again, where like you're just playing with your action figures and you're coming up with stories and stuff. It was fantastic.
I thought feeling like a 10-year-old was having to go to the bathroom a bunch of times before the movie started.
Oh, well, that's it. We were properly dehydrated. We were now going to the bathroom for this. It made me cry, both like screaming in joy and like actual like hitting me with the feels.
Yeah. This
This movie didn't only like do everything I wanted to do, it hit everything that I wanted to hit. It exceeded every level. Gave me the closure that I wanted, like for this era and all that. Set up things that are gonna be great. But it really felt like a love letter to Marvel fans. The callbacks and the fan service was fantastic, but never felt cheap.
Yeah.
Everything about it. I have one kind of issue with the movie that upon my second viewing didn't bother me as much, but it still bothered me a little bit upon the first viewing that I'll talk about later. Aside from that, anything's really a nitpick, but this movie was spectacular, and if you even kind of want to see it, watch it. If you're even a little bit of a fan, you're going to love it. God, like we say this a lot when it comes to these types of movies with Marvel, but they set a new bar. They set a new bar.
For me, it's the best superhero movie ever. Quite possibly the best movie for me ever.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, people that haven't stayed and or like watched all the movies, I think these people can go in and watch it and still enjoy it. Now, the fans, the real fans, the non-casuals, you know who I'm talking about, you guys out there that love this like we do, you're going to go into this and you're going to appreciate all the movies that you watched leading up to this. That's how they put it together, and it's so phenomenal.
Yeah, and there's something in it for everybody. Like if you say you like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but you don't really watch Black Panther, or if you love Thor, but you're not super big on Captain America, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. There's something here for everybody. Like it really ties in everything really well together, and it doesn't matter what you're a fan of. You will like this movie, but if you're a fan of everything, like you were saying, you're going to be rewarded for that 10 times over because the nods that it gives you are like really obscure fan service that like when only part of your theater cheers, like that's when you're like, those are the real hardcore fans.
Right.
So yeah, anything else we want to say before we get into spoilers? Because we can't really say a lot because this whole movie, all the great shit is spoilery.
It's just the best. Go watch it. That's all I have to say. Go watch it. If you're not going to watch this, you're going to suffer.
Okay, can we go? Spoilers? Can we do it? Can we go?
Spoiler alerts!
Yeah, spoilers!
Turn it off if you haven't seen the movie. I assume if you're watching this, you've seen the fucking movie by now. So we're kind of going to go throughout the movie and kind of jump in and say things that we really, really love. The movie starts out pre-snap. Like we know that we're trying to figure out like what they're going to do, how they're going to put the world back together. It looks like it takes place right after the snap.
Did you say pre-snap?
Post-snap.
Post-snap. Okay.
Actually, no.
So there we go.
It takes place. We see Hawkeye. What happened with him with the snap? Like
yeah,
when they
he's
show
right
that
at
scene,
the opening scene.
So the trailer where you see him practicing the bow with who we assume is his daughter, right? So like when it came, I was like, okay, oh great. This is I already knew. Most of us probably already knew what was gonna happen, and we see Clint having to deal with the snap, and so it starts from there, and then it goes, you know. And
the way they did that was beautiful too, because we don't actually see his family dust away. He doesn't actually watch it happen. He just turns around and they're gone. And then he's panicking and trying to find them.
His daughter, you can see she's still playing.
A little bit, yeah.
But the way they do it was really, really well. It cuts from there to Tony and Nebula alone on the Milano, and it shows that they got the ship running for about 48 hours, and now they're just drifting through space. And this is where you see in the trailer, he records the message to Pepper about, hey, we're going to die.
So that answers the question, Nebula was with him.
Nebula was with him, to answer that question. We'll get more into Nebula in a bit, but I love her character arc. Like, I like how she's becoming a person, you know what I mean?
Right.
And actually, like, giving a shit, like, when she picks Tony up and puts him, like, anything, whatever. So, everything looks real dire, and Captain Marvel shows up, as most people predicted. That seemed a little easy. Like, she just happens to be in the same section of space going toward her. But whatever, it works in the story. And the way they did it, when you just see the light coming onto his face, was really well done. Did that seem cheap or easy to you guys, or not care?
No, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, you couldn't really tell exactly where he was in the, I'm possibly going to die here. I mean, at one point you think, oh, is he almost dead? Is he dead? And then Nebula picks him up, puts him in the chair, and you go, oh, now is he dead?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of this, the light kind of wakes him up again out of his stupor.
Right.
And
So then she grabs him and takes him down to Earth, and it's really cool. He's reunited with the Avengers who survived. And I really love the line where he tells Cap, he's like, I couldn't stop him. And Cap's like, neither could we.
Yeah.
This is where Tony looked like shit. Like, they did a good job of making him look near death.
Hold on, before we go further.
But he gets awful blaming.
Hold on. Before the Captain Marvel, just because we talked about that, how her short hair, like a lot of people didn't know how the short hair was going to look. I mean, this is how she currently looks in the comics, and the short hair, I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like the comics. So,
well, she still has long hair at this point, but she cuts it a little later. But yeah, it did look good when she showed up with it.
After the 5 years, for her.
Yeah. So she still looks like she still looks like Captain Marvel from Captain Marvel at this point. So they start planning. They're like, hey, Thanos did exactly what he said he was going to do. We need to find him. Nebula kind of figures out where he's going to be. And they're like, fuck it, let's go get him, right?
But to what you were talking about, like Tony was pretty blamey on Rogers, but that was so much emotion. Like he was sick and looked all freaking just sunken in and like, you know, he started.
Yeah, but he was saying it was all his fault.
Yeah, but
it's your fault. You didn't listen.
It was so I mean, it was really. I thought it was more emotion than. I mean, yes.
I felt like a lot of it was projecting.
I don't know, man, because he said you promised this and you weren't there. You promised that and you weren't there. Like you promised. Where were you? So.
Well, he said, oh, I had this great idea. We're supposed to put this armor around the Earth, and you basically told me, now we ain't gonna do that. We'll just face whatever happens. But you didn't. So
and then the stuff that Steve had said to him, you know, prior to that. And I mean, I don't know. Never mind. Anyway,
classic Steve and Tony. They can't be in a room for 5 minutes without arguing. I love it. So anyway, they go get Thanos, and now finally the title fucking plays, right? So they go get Thanos, they bust in there, restrain him really quick. Go to, like, all of a sudden Thor chops the arm off that has the gauntlet on, which is dope as fuck, because everyone's like, why the hell didn't he just do that at the end of Infinity War, right? I feel like they heard some complaints here. So anyway, come to find out that he snapped the Infinity Stones away. He destroyed them, so he's like half not half dead, but he's pretty bad shape
Burns
himself.
and everything.
Finds out, he destroys the Infinity Stones. There's no way to bring them back. So Thor promptly chops his fucking head off, which was a great scene because I'm like, what'd you do? He's like, I went for the head. Again, a callback. So that was really cool. I like that scene. I thought that was pretty dope. Then we do a time jump. Fast forward 5 years, which is weird. I didn't see that coming at all. So in this point of the movie, after they hit Thanos, this is where I'm like, this is pretty much all the trailers showed. Like, not getting to Thanos, but we thought this was what the movie was going to be.
Right.
Them trying to go after Thanos. So now I'm just like, the fuck are they going to do?
What are they doing the rest of the time?
Yeah, so what they ended up doing was amazing. So time jumps, everybody's trying to move on, everybody's trying to keep going. This is where we see Captain Marvel now with her short hair, which by the way, like you were saying, it looks great in the comic, but I didn't know how it would look in the movie if they did it. It looked fucking fantastic. Like she looked great. Her new costume looked great. Like she looked really out of the modern day comics. Yeah. You see Scarlet Witch still trying to keep everything together, even though there's really no points.
Not Scarlet Witch.
Scarlett Johansson. We see Black Widow trying to keep everything together, and there's really no point. Scott Lang comes back from the quantum realm. So here's a question: did you guys notice when it cuts to the van, there's a mouse crawling over the computer device? Did he accidentally hit a button that got Lang out, or did Lang get himself out?
No, because I watched that real careful the second time. It didn't. He just happened to be there to show, hey, this thing's been sitting around a long time.
Okay, so Lang gets himself out. Because I was like, if that mouse or that rat accidentally hit a button, that's the real hero.
I think it just started firing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he comes out.
He was only in there for 5 hours, according to him.
Yeah. He gets out. Right. He was only in there for 5 hours.
With all this though, they bring the mood down somber. You see they pan through different scenes from the city and the stadium that's in the city and that all the ships in the harbor around the Statue of Liberty. You see all this and it's just man, the Earth is really just messed up after the decimation. So it's man,
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Did all of the people that worked in the garbage and construction industry get snapped out? Is that everybody that left? Because there wasn't a single person apparently left that could pick up garbage in front of people's houses or repair.
So here's the thing. I feel like when it comes to the snapping, you kind of
everything's just
and it's 5 years later too. Nobody.
Couldn't you guys
Here's the problem.
Fixing things out?
With anything, you kind of got to start letting things go because they show an empty stadium. They mentioned that the Met. Oh, I missed the Mets, so there's no baseball. There's ships just everywhere. So there's large parts of the world that aren't back, that aren't doing anything. But if you eliminated half of the population right now, you're going back to the population of about 1970.
Yeah, that's
so they just stole a shitload of people.
That's what I'm saying. You don't go to where you can't function as a society.
Yeah. So this is where you kind of got to let it go.
We're only left with lazy people.
I mean, if you look at zombie movies and shows, why is the grass not tall? Who's out there cutting the grass?
If we really start pulling strings, this whole fucking thing's gonna unroll. So let's just move on. Yeah.
They went on strike.
Yeah. So Lang goes and he finds the Avengers, fills them in on his quantum technology, and he has it in his head that, hey, it might be possible because of how time works differently, we might be able to get in there, and if we can navigate it, pop out and get the stones and fucking before Thanos even gets him, right? He just can't do the math, basically. So they go to get Tony Stark, who has had a good 5 years. He has a daughter, he's married to Pepper Potts. He
what he dreamed about, actually.
Yeah, he was living the good life. He's retired. And they go to talk to him about doing it. He says that it's impossible, it can't be done. And more than that, he doesn't want to risk what he has.
Right, he doesn't want to lose what he has.
So then it shows him in the lab working on it, and he figures it out. And that moment was really cool. He was like, holy shit, you know when a genius does something that would be one of the greatest things in human history?
Yeah, and let me just point. So one of the people that told me that there's things about the movie they didn't like. They're like, and he just accidentally figures it out. I'm like, have you watched these movies? Iron Man in his lab, he usually puts things together. It's trials. He has all these trials. There's so many times he puts suits together that have caught on fire or it hasn't worked. Blah blah. Then finally, when he gets it, he gets it. It's one of those things. It's different trials because I think they said there's a certain number trial, and he tried to run that one right. They were computing and and then it made it. It was there. So
that's a eureka moment. That's when you're going through. You can see he didn't even think it was going to work. He's like, "I'll just do this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "This," and then all of a sudden he looks at the thing and those things go. He goes,
"Yeah."
He just falls into the chair.
Yeah.
There's a scene in Iron Man 1 that explains this very well. When he comes back after making the arc reactor in the cave, and Obadiah Smith is trying to get all his technicians to make one, and we can't. It's impossible. He's like, Tony Stark made one in a fucking cave. And dude's like, I'm not Tony Stark. Tony Stark is just that fucking smart. He designed a fucking constantly renewable source of energy, a new source of fusion, whatever the fuck it is, in a fucking cave. he could craft time travel. That was not unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it's
Right.
yeah. Again, it's one of
That's
the,
like people being like, oh, she can't run away from a T-Rex in high heels. I'm like, there's a fucking T-Rex on screen. Like, this is where you're drawing the line in the sand. Let it go, dude. Like, let it go. So he cracks time travel. So he has a very touching moment with the daughter. I'll let one of you guys with children explain the I Love You 3000 thing, because that probably hit you guys harder.
It did. It was, well, first, I mean, I have a little one at home. I mean, my 4-year-old is like a teenager, but the stuff that we say around her, we have to be careful. And that was the moment he had when the computer said it was complete, and he was like, he falls back in the chair. He's like, oh shit. He turns around, and his daughter's sitting at the bottom of the stairs, and she sees him, and she says, shit. He's like, no, don't say anything, and basically bribes her with juice pops or whatever. Like, it's just, then it gets you where he takes her to, to bed, tucks her in, gives her a really short story. And he says, I love you 3000.
She says, I love you 3000.
She says, I love you 3000.
Anytime your kids tell you love you, that's
it's just,
the
it
best
gets
thing.
you.
But she said it really cute. And
but it made it real. Like,
yeah.
just with her repeating what her dad said, and it's just, a word, and we, parents go through that, and it made, especially for parents, it's like, oh man, okay, so now we see that Tony is a father.
Right. We see why he's hesitant to get back in the fight.
Yeah.
So the I Love You 3000 line's a really good line. And then I love Tony Stark leaving the room because he's like, go to sleep or I'll sell all your toys. Like, that's so Tony Stark.
Right.
Cute little kid, great little actress.
Or me. I mean, that's why I like it.
But then bragging to
That's what I was about to say. He's just like, so she loves me 3000.
You're about somewhere between 7 to 900 or
You're
something
somewhere
like
in the
that.
low 6 to 900 range. But so then he tells her, I cracked time travel. And this is the problem with Tony Stark, is just like, he has a life, and he even says, I could throw this in the lake, like nobody ever has to know about it, I can just go to bed. And Pepper's like, oh, would you rest?
Right.
And this is the thing, he can't. He knows, like, he got lucky, but a lot of people didn't, and he can't resist the urge to be a hero. You know what I mean?
I'll throw it in the lake and Scott Lang will see keep popping up and on the ring.
So, meanwhile, the Avengers are trying to figure this out still, so they go to the next smartest person they know, Bruce Banner, who they cut to a diner, and he's there in full Hulk form, but
He's Professor Hulk.
He's Professor Hulk.
And he's loving it. He's living the life.
He's taking pictures, he's dabbing, I mean, come on.
He's figured out a way to merge Banner and Hulk. So he's the Hulk, but he has the intelligence of Banner, which is really fucking hilarious.
Funny.
But his area of expertise is not what Tony's is in this particular field, so they can't, through a series of trial and errors, they're trying to send Scott Lang back through time, but he comes back as a baby, he's an old man, like they fuck it up, and what a really, really comical scene. Like it's quite funny. Sometimes
somebody peed my pants. I don't know if it was old me or baby me.
Movies
Or maybe.
So sometimes movies try to put scenes in like this for comedy's sake that don't end up landing and aren't funny, but this was actually completely funny and really engaging. So Tony rolls up, gives Cap a new shield, says he's going to do it, but the point is we have to bring back everybody that was lost without changing anything from the last 5 years, because he doesn't want to lose his daughter, right?
Right.
So he gets there, they now start getting the team together in order to start prepping for the mission. So we cut to New Asgard. Other members of the Avengers are going to recruit former members. Go to New Asgard, new colony set up for the surviving Asgardians. We see the return of Valkyrie, who I'm
It's just
super
some
happy.
town.
It's
just some town.
It's some town in Norway. Or Norway,
It's
whatever.
not like another magical kingdom.
Well, and even Rocky comments on it. He's like, this is a big step down from like Golden Palaces and shit. So that's really cool. And we see Tessa Thompson. I love her as Valkyrie. I'm glad she came back. And then we go discover Thor, who is really, really dealing with the guilt of not killing Thanos the first time.
Yeah, with Korg and Meek.
Korg and Meek are alive. That's cool. They're playing Fortnite. So he's really dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt, a lot of probably PTSD. He's really fucked up about it. And the problem, and so then all of a sudden you see him, and he's fat. Like he's gained a fuck ton of weight. He's super fat. And just super long hair, all that kind of shit. Like just doesn't care, just constantly drinking beer.
I love it, because now I can say I have the body of Thor.
So that was my one kind of problem with this movie. Was
Fat, drinking too much beer.
Here's the thing. This was funny, especially for a while. It was funny seeing him like that. And Chris Evans, we've all figured out, he's a great comedic actor, has great timing, great chemistry. So he was funny. It's played up really funny. I love the scene.
Who is?
Chris Hemsworth, Thor.
Oh, I thought you said Evans.
No.
Okay. All right.
Did I say Evans? Okay. Chris Hemsworth is funny. I love the scene where they're walking in and they're like, "Hey, freaking Lebowski, out of the way!" That was great.
I love Thor, but Thor has become so friggin' hilarious. He's the best in these movies.
He is really funny, but I feel like this undercut his development in Ragnarok and Infinity War just a little bit. Because if this happened for part of the movie, and then they went back from it, like I thought, we'll get into this later, but when he calls the lightning at the last battle and he gets his costume back, I thought, nobody would have thought second, if the lightning hits him and he's ripped Thor again, and now he's ready for battle, you know, he has his I'm done being fat and weepy, now I'm Thor again.
The lightning should have melted all that shit away.
That's what I thought, and it did. So then he has a suit on, he's still just fat. And the problem is when he's fighting in the last battle, it takes away from it because you still look at him, he still looks funny, like you still want to laugh at him, but it's super serious now. And some of the scenes that he has.
You know what? Fat guys can be serious, and they can be badasses too.
I'm not saying they
no,
can.
you already just said that.
No, you can kick my ass. I would never deny that, and you're funnier than I am. I would never deny that either.
I'm just saying, lay off the Thor right now. Okay, you put on a little weight, let it go.
Let it go.
Let's move on.
God, he's going through some stuff. Come on.
All right, so they get Fat Thor, and he goes.
I didn't think it took away from the battle, honestly.
I didn't think so either, but I'll just say that to him.
Okay. So anyway, clearly they disagree with me. So Fat Thor just go along with the fucking ride.
All right.
So he comes, they recruit everybody, and now they start planning what Scott Lang calls the time heist. Right? They start planning when they're going to go find the Infinity Stones. They start going through, everybody, basically the history of the MCU and all the places the time stones have been. And they come to like a really funny moment where, like, as you watch these movies, you're just like, it's really convenient that a lot of these stones happen to be around Earth. Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow's just like, wait a minute. If we go back to the right point, there's 3 fucking stones in New York. And I was like, oh, we never realized that. So then they prep, they all get ready, they break off into teams, and they each go to various points in time to go recover said Infinity Stone to come back, so that way they could try to bring everybody back. And this basically kicks off the second act of the movie, and it started, not that it was slow, like the first act wasn't slow at all, especially the second time. It really moved. Now the movie kicks off though, now it really gets going. Going back in time, they go back to the New York battle in the first Avengers, go back to Thor the Dark World when Thor's mom died. They go back to the first scene in Guardians of the Galaxy where Peter steals the Power Stone, and they go to the Soul Stone to go find that where Red Skull is. This was like a greatest hits of these movies. Like you're seeing scenes that you love that make you remember and feel a certain way from a different point of view. You said it great the other night. It was like a behind the scenes.
It's like behind the scenes, but it really wasn't. Like you know, okay, take the Avengers, right? When they battled Loki, they have him up in Tony's apartment or his little building right after. And they're standing around him, and Tony says something about, like, we can pose later or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like right when they come,
And they're behind watching this stuff, and so you see Loki get put in cuffs and go into the elevator. And it's funny because you're like, okay, we didn't see this, but this happened, right?
Yeah.
You know, and the elevator is closing, and Hulk tries to get in. He's like, hey, big guy, like, capacity, maximum capacity, use the stairs. And Hulk gets pissed, and he goes to punch, and he's like, don't you do it? And he punches the elevator. And he's like, Hulk takes stairs. Hulk always takes stairs.
Shit, like Tony just starts pouring everybody a drink.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like,
and for me with the Hulk, it was like the only thing we heard him ever say in this movie is Hulk smash and puny god. Yeah. And so now we see he actually talks a little bit more. Yeah. Like he's like, Hulk takes stairs. And just for me that was cool. And then you see the rest of what.
But we skipped one of the funny parts. It's when Professor Banner is supposed to blend in as Hulk. And so you're gonna smack them because I think this is pretty gratuitous. And he rips his shirt off and he comes out and goes, ah!
It was
like down that, and he goes, rah!
It was like when Banner tried to move the hammer in Avengers as Voltron. He's like, ah! It was like that, but he's the Hulk. But yeah, so Tony and Ant-Man's on the shoulder. They're watching like this scene play out. And fucking Tony is like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry, Cap, but that old costume does nothing for your ass. And I love Scott Lang. It's just like, no, you look great. As far as I'm concerned, that's America's ass. So, and then another great shot is they have the Tesseract and they have Loki and restraints. And so, the thing about this movie, almost anybody who was ever in a Marvel movie, had any little part, comes back. Like the dude who played the secretary in Winter Soldier comes back. Crossbones comes back. All these characters that were around then, but you wouldn't think would come back for a minute of screen time do. And I love this part too because like they have Loki and everybody back in 2012 and they're walking him out and you see the secretary like, hey, where are you taking him? He's coming to justice. And Thor's like, no, he's gonna answer to Odin. And I'm like, where are you going? And I love the line, they're like, oh, well, lunch, and then back to Asgard. I'm like, oh, because they got shawarma after the Avengers, like, little shit they're telling me. So they're trying to get the Tesseract, it doesn't work. Loki ends up getting away with it, and so, like, they fuck that up. So Hulk goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum to go try to get the Time Stone from what they think is Doctor Strange, but he wasn't around yet. And I love this.
He's an actual doctor doing surgery.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
You missed one. So they didn't get the Tesseract, got out, Loki got it, disappeared, but then they had the staff that they were trying to get. And one of the funny parts that I like is they're in the elevator And Captain America saying, I'm taking this with me, and they're like, oh no, you're not. I'm taking this, and then throw back to the comics. He goes, Hail Hydra. And they go, oh, okay, yeah,
and another reason you think that was so good is because they set it up just like the elevator scene in a Winter Soldier.
Right.
And they're gonna jump him, and I was like, oh, he's gonna do it again. I was like, oh, he's gonna fight him. And then they throw to that, and I was just like, that was better. That's why I don't rate these movies. That was better.
And then you get Steve Rogers versus Steve Rogers.
Yeah, then you know that was good because he turns the corner, sees the old Captain America, he's like, you gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, it's like, you gotta be shitting me. So they see the old Steve Rogers sees him. He's like, we got Loki in sector blah blah blah. So he thinks he's Loki. So he's like, look, I don't want to hurt you. Like puts down the case. They start fighting, and then they get some good punches in, and then the old Steve Rogers says, "I can do this all day," and then Steve Rogers is like, I know. He's irritated because he knows he says this shit, and he's irritated with hearing it from himself, and it's so funny. So they fight, get knocked out, and so the present day Steve Rogers looks down, and he's like, "You're right, that is America's ass." And it was so funny. They had so many funny parts like that. I love it.
It's really like this is being really meta, where it's kind of poking fun at how cheesy Captain America is. Yeah. It's really good. So they get the Mind Stone, they don't get the Tesseract. Bruce goes and like checks out Tilda Swinton's back playing freaking the Ancient One, and it's cool because it's showing her on top of the Sanctum Sanctorum, not actively getting involved in the battle for New York, but as Chitauri are flying by, she's just killing them. You know what I mean? Which is cool. So then her and Bruce starts trying to get the Time Stone from her, which is really cool. She's like, no, like it's gonna mess up my reality if you do this. She does the whole, Back to the Future, let's draw the line and show you how timelines work or whatever.
Well, first he tries to get tough with her, and she punches Bruce out of the Hulk.
Yeah, which is really
and then she's talking to his hologram the rest of the time.
So. And so, she's not gonna give it up until he's just like, okay, but like if we take the stones, that'll fuck everything up. But what if we come back and we put the stones right back where they're supposed to go? And she's like, okay, well that would work in theory. The problem is you have to survive. How the hell do I know you're gonna survive? And he's like, well, we don't. She's like, well, then I'm not giving it to you. And he's like, well, why the hell would Doctor Strange give the freaking Time Stone to Thanos? And she's like, what? He did what? He gave it to Thanos like on purpose? Yeah. And they're like, yeah. She's like, oh, fuck, well, he knows something we don't know. He's the best of us. Bam, just gives him the Time Stone.
Right. Yeah. Well, first she goes, did he make a mistake? And she goes, maybe I made a mistake. Meaning I didn't give this to you right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's really cool. So then we cut to, so Rhodey and Nebula are at the scene of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and we see the scene of Peter Quill coming in dancing. And this is great because it's the exact same scene. You're freaking hearing the music, you're laughing, all kind of stuff. But then it comes to their behind the scenes point of view, and it's just some douchebag listening to headphones, terribly singing along to this song.
No music.
Yeah. And so Rhodey just looks at Nebula and is like, so he's an idiot. And then just like backhands his shit, knocks him fucking clean out.
Knocks him out, yeah.
And this is a cool another character development moment with Nebula, where like she reaches in to get the Power Stone, and Rhodey sees her hand get fried and how it's all like mechanical and shit. Yeah. Realizes like, fuck, she's had a rough fucking life. Like this is bad, And they have a little moment where they connect, and it's cool because it just shows her growth a little more. And like one moment I forgot to mention, when Captain Marvel first lands the ship and Tony's brought back, Rocket walks over to her and she's sitting on the stairs. And
they hold hands.
They hold hands. Yeah, and something that she never would, neither of them would have ever done. So again, little by little, we're seeing more Nebula character moments, and you're starting to care about her more than I thought we would. But anyway, so they get a Power Stone, but she warns them that at the same time, her past self, past Nebula, past Gamora, and Thanos are all looking for the Power Stone. So she starts tweaking out her mind, her memory banks or whatever, because she's synced, I guess, to the same, whatever the hell, with current Nebula. So, long story short, Thanos and all of them figure out exactly what's happening by watching the memories of freaking old Nebula off of the current version of Nebula. So he learns everything, figures out everything. Right. So as this is going on, I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be crazy. Like the tension and the drama is gonna be if they can get all the stones and shit. I didn't even for a minute think that Thanos would be like, no, fuck it, I know everything. Let's go stop it. And I was just like, shit. And when Nebula realizes, she's like, no, he knows everything. I was like, shit, he knows everything. Shit, what's gonna happen? Then they get that Nebula, they start torturing the shit out of her, and they find out everything. So then old past Nebula disguises herself as new Nebula and goes forward in time with our heroes. And I'm just like, shit. Yeah. But before that happens, so we're going to get the freaking Mind Stone or Soul Stone. We're going to get Soul Stone. We go to Boromir, and it's freaking it is Black Widow and it is Hawkeye. So they find Red Skull again. He gives a whole spiel that he gave to Thanos and Gamora in the previous movie. And they figure out one of them has to die. Now, in true hero fashion, they both want to do it.
Right.
And I love when Clint realizes, he's like, I think we're both talking about different people. So they both kind of have dialogue as to why it should be them. And then they just start fighting for it. And a really, really emotional scene. They both start running for the edge and they're throwing down together. This was a rough scene to watch.
It was.
Because you're like, who's gonna, because like, I think everybody thinks it's gonna be Hawkeye.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you see him jump off the cliff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she comes in, does some kind of Houdini wire, wrapping stuff around. Next thing you know, he's wrapped up, tied off the edge, and she's hanging. He's got her by the arm, and she ain't hanging on. She's like, let me go.
Yeah, really sad, emotional. She ends up dying. So he does get the Soul Stone, and at a really heavy price. Comes back. And they all come back, and they're like, "Where's Nat?" And they realize that she's dead. And they're all like, after this, they're all kind of talking about it, about making it worth it. And Thor has a really good kind of freak out moment where Hawkeye says something, and he's like, "Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like she's dead?" It's like, we have the time stone. Like, we can just go back and we can save her. And Hawkeye's like, "No, we can't change this. This is real." But I like how, like, even a fucking superhero could be in denial. And just like, no, like, she's not dead. We're not going to let her die.
But that movie shows that Hawkeye's wrong. Because yet, same thing happened with Gamora, yet she's back. Now, the current
I feel like
Gamora
you can't, you can't.
The old Gamora.
You can go back to 2 days ago and get her and bring her to the future. But anyway,
but she'll be the crazy Russian agent.
Right.
And not the one
Current
that's
one.
developed to...
Well, it depends on when you go back in time to get her.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
But so one thing we forgot to mention before they actually went after the stones is they actually, when they were figuring out their plan, they had a really funny conversation about the logistics of time travel. And Scott Lang's like, well, nothing will go wrong as long as we follow the rules of time travel. Don't interact with your former self, da-da-da. And Tony's like, please tell me you're not basing this entire mission off fucking Back to the Future. And then so like they all have another conversation where Brody's like, well, if we could just go back in time, time to baby Thanos. I'm just like, just fucking let. And Hulk's like, well, one, because that's horrible. And then Brody's like, it's Thanos. And he's like, you can't. So
But they mentioned so many other time movies.
It's like, why do you think that'll work? Like, oh, Back to the Future, Time Cop, Predator, like just like straight
Concept time machine.
Yeah.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's not one.
But so here's the cool thing. So what this movie does well is, anytime you have a movie that talks about time travel, things start to get, tend to be confusing. There's different rules as to time travel. The cool thing about time travel is the shit's theoretical, right? Nobody really knows how that would actually work. So you just have lots of different ideas as to how it works. So where movies fuck up is you can make it work however you want it to work, as long as you establish rules for it, and then you adhere to your own rules within your movie.
Right.
Movies fuck that up when they don't adhere to their own rules. This movie establishes rules kind of different from how we proceeded before, where they're like, no, if we go back and remove shit, we're not gonna change the future, because the way they worded it was like, we're in the present, we are our current present, and we go change it. We didn't change shit in our past, so thus we're not gonna change shit in our future. Right. And I'm like, well, that makes fucking sense. And I'm like, cool, I've never heard it interpreted that way, but as long as you adhere to that, don't care. Cool, do it your way. So I like that whole talking about movies and shit was funny, and I like how they established a rule for time travel that they adhere to. I didn't know this is a real flaw.
And if you go back and put them back, we won't screw up everybody else's.
Yeah, we won't branch off the multiple timelines.
After we're all done, we'll just take back things. We'll go back to that.
Everything's cool.
Yeah.
So now we got all the stones. So now they construct an Iron Man glove, to basically a gauntlet to hold all the stones to try to snap things back. Figure out Hulk's going to be the one to do it because he has the best chance of surviving.
I think we kind of passed over the whole Tony Stark meeting his father thing, and that was kind of a big part of
that was a huge thing. Yeah, so when they realized they couldn't get the Tesseract, they each had enough pin particles for one round trip, right? So they had enough to come back, but if they failed, it's like they're fucked, right? They realized that in 1970, they could go back to where the Tesseract is at a base, and Hank Pym's working there so they could steal more pin particles to get it back. So it's a twofold. So
and they'll see Stan Lee.
That was the Stan Lee cameo. They see him there. His last final one. So they go back. They each go working their way around this base, and yes, Tony runs into Howard, and they have a really touching conversation about fathers and being a parent and what it means. You guys really like that?
Yes, because Tony's mom's expecting him right now, and she's. And Howard's bringing home some sauerkraut and some flowers to his pregnant wife. So it was pretty touching. It was nice to see him trying to have a conversation with his father, but not let on that he's his father, that he's Howard Potts.
Which is funny too, because they say goodbye. They do have an emotional moment. Either they're two strangers, they would have had a pretty emotional conversation. But then Tony, this is the dad, just gives him the most awkward hug in the world, where Howard's just like. Oh, fuck,
Okay.
bro.
But he doesn't know what to say, so he just thank you
takes
for
it, yeah.
just thank you for all that you've done for
And also, Steve gets a glimpse at Peggy Carter, which is
Yes,
also huge.
that's
He
pretty-
sees her through
that's
the window,
huge.
and he mentions earlier in the movie that after he met the love of his life, he went on the ice for 70 years.
Yeah.
So that's huge. He got to see the woman that he's in love with. You know what I mean? So yeah, they get those things. We see CGI really young Michael Douglas, which again, their de-aging effects blow me away. But in his lab, we get to see the original Ant-Man helmets, which
Yes,
is
those
good,
are-
dope as
yeah.
fuck. So anyway, they get these, go back, and so yes, now we're fast forward back to where we are. They have the gauntlet. Hulk goes to snap, and Tony's like, okay, just we're bringing everybody back, but we're keeping everything that happened the last 5 years, right?
Right.
So during this whole time, Nebula actually steals some Pym particles from the old Gamora, gives that to Thanos, comes back with them, starts fucking with shit with the time machine and all that. So Thor goes.
Bad Gamora.
Yeah, bad Gamora.
Yeah.
Hulk goes to snap, right? He does it, really hurts him, fries his arm and the side of his face the way that Thanos was at the end of Infinity War.
Undoes the Thanos snap.
Undoes the Thanos snap. They're not quite sure if it worked yet,
No.
but all of a sudden Hawkeye's phone starts ringing and you see that it's his wife.
Yes.
There's
So-
more birds outside.
Yeah, more birds, there seems to be more life, and there's a really great shot where we think it worked. You look up, fucking missiles coming at you, because fucking Thanos came through the time machine with his ship, is hovering over Avengers fucking whatever, blows it to shit.
Yeah.
Bombs the shit out of it.
Off the base. And
Yeah. Collapses the whole building. Everybody's trapped in the rubble. Chaos. Carnage. Yeah.
Nitpick, how nobody died in that, no human, because they bombed the fuck out of it.
There's a lot of missiles.
Hey,
yeah.
hey, to quote
It's okay.
Rhodey, we're all about the superhero. We're all about this. Okay. We don't die.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. It was. It was pretty cool. So one thing we should mention also, back before they went on this whole mission, when they were briefing with Scarlett Johansson, when Black Widow was briefing the surviving Avengers, the things going on, they do mention that Captain Marvel is basically a lot of planets that she's trying to help. She says earlier in the movie, there are thousands of worlds are experiencing the exact same thing that Earth has, but none of them have the Avengers, right?
None of them had
So she's like, I'm not going to be around for months. I'm not going to be around for a long time. I got to go handle this. So that's why she's kind of MIA throughout this whole movie. She's not in this movie very much
And I love
at
that
all.
because when Captain Marvel came out, a lot of people were complaining, saying, "Oh, now Captain Marvel, she's going to save the day." I try to explain to people, it's going to take more than just Captain Marvel to beat Thanos, and it's not going to be her coming over and taking over the movie.
Yeah,
and
that didn't happen at all.
As much as they used her was I think it was perfect.
Yeah.
I
I actually could have used her in the movie more.
honestly.
I like narratively how we were following basically the original Avengers and this group trying to get them back, because she's a little overpowered, so she would have made everything too easy.
Right.
But just her interactions with the Avengers were great. She's great. I love her as an actress. So I'm definitely looking forward to future movies that she'll be in more.
Definitely.
But so Thanos shows up, and we have a great shot now while everybody's trying to get themselves out of the rubble and shit like that. You see Thanos tells evil Nebula to go get the gauntlet. Gamora and not evil Nebula have a conversation where Gamora realizes that they're going to be sisters and they have to stop Thanos. So now she's back to let's go stop Thanos. And now we have the money shot starts kicking off, where we get Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor looking at Thanos just kind of sitting there. And they're like, what's he doing? He's just sitting there. So before we go on, one thing we should mention real quick, we forgot to talk about when Rocket and Thor go to Thor the Dark World, basically in 2013, they go back to Asgard to try to get the Ether, the Reality Stone, out of Jane Foster. So their plan is to go just sneak in there and they have the syringe thing to suck it out of her. Thor kind of freaks out when he sees his mom. His mom sees him, and what is a really cool scene, knows that it's future Thor, because she's magic. And kind of gives him a really cool pep talk. He kind of tells her everything that's going on, and she's like, no, fuck it, do it. Be who you're supposed to be, or be who you are, not who you're supposed to be. Gives him a really touching pep talk, and he gets to say goodbye to his mom, gets to hug her, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really touching, because, it was sad when she died. And then he does a really cool thing where all of a sudden, Rocket's running. He's like, Thor, I got it, we gotta go. And then I love when the Asgardian soldiers are chasing him, get that rabbit! Yeah. So then he's like, wait, one thing. Goes to freaking put the hand out. Rocket's
Oh my gosh.
what am I watching? And Freya's just
Sometimes it takes a
Texas.
while.
Bam! Mjolnir comes back.
Oh
and you're
my
like, fuck yeah. And he's like, I'm still worthy. And he just takes Mjolnir. And I'm like, well, that'll fuck things up. Sure. But anyway, so I had to tell you that, to tell you this. So he's there, and all of a sudden they're waiting well, let's stop him from getting the gauntlet. Freaking, you see Thor's eyes light up, you see the clouds, you see thunder, you hear thunder, you see lightning, and all of a sudden, wham! Stormbreaker comes to him in one hand, fucking Mjolnir in the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. My erection hurt, it was so big. I was just like, let's go! Sorry, kids.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, so now we have our three heroes throwing down with Thanos, and so I'm, at this point...
Thor's bringing all the lightning.
All the lightning, right? So at this point, I'm just like, I kind of wanted like a really big, crazy, epic battle with everybody. That's impossible. That'll never happen. But this is great. Like, our three original superheroes fighting Thanos. By the way, they're not winning. Like, they are getting their asses kicked. So then, in Infinity War, there is a scene, Thor's arrival in Wakanda, right? When he lands in Wakanda, everyone loses their shit. Well, this next thing I'm about to tell you is Thor landing.
Right, oh my god.
So, Tony gets knocked the fuck out. Cap gets knocked down. So now we got Thor just going after Thanos. And he's holding his own, but Thanos is, he fucking knocks Mjolnir down, freaking gets Thor on the floor, freaking he throws Stormbreaker, Thanos like catches it, and he has Stormbreaker, and he's shoving it into Thor's chest, right? Yep. And freaking they're really playing it up, because you're expecting people to die, you don't know who's gonna die. Like, maybe they're gonna kill Thor. Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? All of a sudden, you can hear the sound of Mjolnir, like, flying through the air.
Well, no. First you see it, he's on the ground, and it starts shaking. Yeah. The hammer just starts shaking, and then you see it's going somewhere, and you don't know where, and it changes direction, and where does it go?
Well, first, it actually hits Thanos.
Yeah.
And then it stops.
Yeah. Knocks him off the door, comes back.
Into Captain America's hands!
Right.
Fucking, so then you get...
Keep worthy!
You got Cap with Mjolnir, with the shield.
And Thor goes, I knew it!
This is the fucking nuts, cheered, nerd out fucking moments. If you've ever read a comic book, you know that Captain America is one of the others that have wielded Mjolnir. He's beyond worthy to do it. And that shot of him with both.
Yeah.
The movie ended there. I'd been like, fuck it, great. Like pure joy. That was one of the best things I've ever experienced in my life. That's probably a sad statement. That was amazing. So now, Cap just goes after that. He starts like doing the spinny thing, and he starts throwing down. And it's not just, I can pick up the hammer. He's the god of fucking thunder. Right. Like, he's summoning the lightning.
Yeah, he's throwing the lightning. He's throwing it everywhere. It's coming down.
And then
he put the shield and the hammer.
Yeah, he was like hitting them fucking against each other. Like how he's fighting with the hammer. You're just like, whoa, Captain America.
I mean, at one time he like throws his shield and like hits it with his hammer or whatever, and it's crazy.
And then like he bounces off him, he catches that, throws this, like it's nuts.
One thing for sure, Captain America got his time to shine in this movie.
Yes.
No other movie, and it was awesome to see all the stuff he did and to lead the Avengers like he should have been leading.
So, this plays into like what you just said. He's fighting. He still gets beat though, ultimately. Even this is not enough. So Thor's unconscious, Iron Man's unconscious.
His shield gets broken.
Mjolnir gets knocked away. It's getting broken down, and it fucking knocks him out. And this is the great thing about Captain America is he keeps getting up. He always gets up. He gets up, tightens the shield, looks bloody, and Thanos gives like a really. Thanos is such a good villain. He's like, in all my conquests and all my time destroying worlds, I've never enjoyed it. It's never been personal. But I'm really gonna enjoy this. And then you see like portals opening up behind him.
And that's when it got personal for me! Thanos, that's when it got personal for me! Alright?
So this, before the portals open, you hear Sam.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking hang on. I'm getting to that.
Okay, good.
The portals behind Thanos are opening, and you see his armies. You see those crazy monsters from Infinity War. You see the Chitauri coming.
And then it looks like you got Captain America. He's gonna face off against all
that shot is what I'm talking about. You see this beautiful shot of just Captain America by himself. This vast emptiness. Thanos and an unstoppable army. And like that needs to be my wallpaper, like right away. Like that
newer stuff that they haven't shown before. Big giant things that
tanks and monsters. Like, but that shot is everything you need to know about Captain America. Because he would have just charged. He was gonna die. He fucking knew it was gonna happen. But so this whole thing is like happening so well. It kind of takes your mind off the. Hawk brought everybody back. There's other heroes that could be joining this fight that you didn't think about. So then, as T. Crawler just said, you start hearing in Cap's earpiece, Cap, come in.
On your left.
Cap, do you hear me? It's Falcon. And he says, on your left. Which, great throwback to the Winter Soldier. Gosh, all of a sudden, a bunch of Doctor Strange portals start opening.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you see everybody. You see Black Panther, Shuri, Okoye. He starts chanting. You see a massive army, complete with like their flying ships and stuff, all the stuff they didn't have in Infinity War. You see not just that, you see the Guardians of the Galaxy come back. You see Valkyrie with the Guardian. Valkyrie riding a fucking Pegasus.
You see
With
all
that
the sorcerers, all the
sorcerers all over the world. Spider-Man comes back.
Yeah.
Fucking Pepper Potts in an Iron Man suit.
The rescue suit.
Everybody.
Now, I'm going to say
Everybody.
something right now. I made 2 predictions that I said were going to happen in this movie,
Okay.
and I was right.
What?
One of them we haven't talked about yet,
Okay.
so I'm not going to say. The other one is rescue armor. I
You
said
did call
she was
that,
coming
yeah.
back,
I knew that was going to happen too. I
Well,
figured.
you know everything according to you.
According to you, I'm wrong about everything.
Well,
anyway.
I called it in the video, so we can go back and then refer to it.
But so,
Anyway.
and so here's where I cried, like tears hit me.
But here,
because
can I say something? Like you told me, like so when you see the Wakandans and everything come through, you're like, okay, that's a big army, but it's not enough.
Right.
But as you were thinking that, then you see all the other
Yeah.
stuff that you mentioned, like you're like, okay, holy shit, like it's like all this.
yeah, you're like, oh great, Black Panther's here.
About the time you think it's done, there's more people that
Yeah,
come.
right.
I was like, is this everybody?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
holy
Like literally anybody you could think of.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch comes back. Everybody who's ever like been a hero in these movies is there.
The Wasp is finally in
yeah,
the
the Wasp
movie
shows up. Yeah,
for the first time.
Yeah. Literally everyone, and so it's all of them. It's all the Wakandans. It's all the sorcerers, and it does a pan shot where you just see all these portals opening. Everybody pouring out behind Captain America. Thor and Iron Man get back up, and it's their army versus Thanos' army. And then Cap gives the line, "Avengers assemble," and then the Avengers theme hits, and we have our heroes charge into battle. And this is where I was like, before this happens, I was like, this is a cool fight. I would love a huge battle with everybody, but that's not possible. That would be insane. That would be hundreds of millions of dollars. That could never happen. Whatever. Fuck!
This is the end game, bro.
Dude, but when that theme hit and they were charging each other, so I cried for dumb things. Like, in Wonder Woman, what made me cry was the first time we see Themyscira and we saw all the Amazons like fighting and training, and I was like, oh my god, it's real. They brought it to life. So in this, I was like, this is like a splash page from a comic book. They brought it to life. And as they're charging, I was like, this is good to be true. They're going to end the movie right before they hit. They're going to end it. Yeah, they didn't end it. Fuck!
It happened.
Fuck!
I was
a long
wondering
time.
where we were on time because like if they ended right here, and it would suck, but it's so freaking epic, So.
That fight made the Civil War airport scene look like nothing. Like everybody gets time to shine. Everybody
Oh my gosh.
gets a moment. Everybody and so the whole point of this is they're trying to figure out a way to to send Thanos and everything back. So they have the gauntlet and they're passing the gauntlet off to each other, trying to get to Scott Lang and the Wasp. They get back to the other time machine.
Into the old crappy brown van.
So they're trying to get it there in order to activate it and stuff. And there's just
Each person gets to
Yeah.
grab the gauntlet and go and you
Yeah,
get
so
to see that in action.
Hawkeye has it for a minute, and then he freaking
Gives
throws
it
it
to
to Black Panther.
Like, you get to see his suit get hit
Yeah,
and
he
charge
lights
up
up.
and he hits the ground. You're like, you get to see him do things that are supposed to do it. Like, and Spider-Man gets in and he gets to activate the freaking
instant kill.
instant kill on his own without it
It is-
doing it itself. And it's just like,
So this is what got me. Like, Spider-Man has it. Freaking, he's getting overwhelmed. So Rescue, Pepper Potts, gets him, and like she's like, I got you, kid. He's hanging out by a web shooter. Throws him. He gets caught by Valkyrie, and then jumps on the back of her flying fucking Pegasus. As Valkyrie's and Spider-Man's there with the gauntlet.
And he
And
like says,
10-year-old 10-year-old me is just losing his shit. Okay, so then like one of my favorite scenes in this movie happens where Thanos is like, fuck it, we're fighting, we're still gonna win. Turns around, Scarlet Witch drops down in front of him.
gosh.
And she's like, you took everything from me. He's like, bitch, I don't even know you. And then they start fighting.
I don't even know you.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
They start fighting.
That's when you see her power, though.
She was gonna kill
him apart.
no,
He was
almost
gonna die.
She
What?
was
He
gonna
was
kill
gonna
him.
die.
He was dead to
Yes.
fucking rights.
Yes.
And like really quickly
I
too.
was gonna say, they didn't start fighting, she started tearing him
She
apart.
started
Yeah.
whipping his ass.
Yeah.
And he literally was like, fire all the guns on us! And there was like, oh fucking, but our
Where are
troops.
our troops?
He's like, fuck it! Like as
Yeah.
she's crushing him, and then they started just bombing everything from his giant ship.
And
That's what I read.
if she didn't get distracted and have to like protect
Yeah.
herself, Thanos would be done.
She would have fucking wrecked him herself and
Yeah.
looked great doing it. So yeah, then he starts wrecking everything, and then like so the ship is like overwhelming them. And then all of a sudden enter the triumphant return of
Captain Marvel, because all the weapons change direction. And like, what's going on? Something's in the coming through the atmosphere. It's like, oh shit, we forgot about Captain Marvel.
So she just plows through their ship like a motherfucking torpedo.
rocking that new haircut,
Yeah.
looking great doing
And
it.
then she goes through it again. And it crashes. Yeah.
And then so she jumps down, starts throwing down with Thanos, and this is a great fight scene. It's pretty much what you'd want it to be. We forgot to mention at this point, Thanos' ship has blown up the old time travel machine that Ant-Man and the Wasp were working on. So,
wait, you missed the thing where she comes up and Peter Parker is holding the gauntlet. He goes, I'm Peter Parker. And she goes, I'm Peter Parker. You got something for me?
Yeah, so this is another fantastic scene. He hands her the gauntlet, and she's like, then you see the army circling around them, and he's like, I don't know how you're going to get it through there. And then they're just like, oh, she has help. And then all the female superheroes line up. You got Scarlet Witch, Valkyrie, the Wasp, Okoye, Shuri, Nebula. Who else am I missing?
I don't know.
All
every female. Yeah. It was like
this was the scene like that they both. My daughter Luna and Tasha cried at this.
No, this was amazing.
Such a big thing
well, and so like I don't know if you guys have seen the thing going around Facebook where it's all these heroes with Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow was the only one missing, but with her in it, like make this female Avengers movie. I'm like, they'd never do that. But then you see basically that, and you're just like, fuck, make that movie!
Yeah,
I would watch that right now.
That scene was awesome, but like you said, could she have, Captain Marvel gets the gauntlet and just goes and plows through Thanos. Could she have done it without those people? Like you said, I think she could have, but
Probably.
it was awesome to see.
Well,
but it was a moment.
It
was a team. It was a team.
It was a team. You know.
And it was the female. It was a female power moment.
Because she wound up getting knocked down.
She
again.
did.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
They
what
cleared her
happened.
path and she went, and then she got hit by something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But before this happened, like when the first charge happens, Giant Man's there.
Yeah.
So like
Which is awesome.
You guys remember when the Hulk punches that big like dragon-looking Chitauri ship thing, like in the first Avengers? He does this and just like overhands it and fucking drops it like a boss.
And he's just stomping on stuff.
My
Look at this.
My brain was exploding during this. So much shit happened, just like that. So much shit happened. So much awesome. Like, I can't believe that this is where we are and that a scene like this took place. It was the best thing I've ever seen in a superhero movie. It might have been the best fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, it was just, and not even just dumb, pointless action and fun. It was so cool. Little character moments happen too. Like, Peter Quill sees, like, old Gamora. He's like, oh my god, you're alive. I've missed you. He goes to touch her and she kicks him in the balls twice.
Yeah. And he goes, first time, the second time they got them both.
And then she's just, Nebula walks up and Gamora's like, really? This one? This is the one? And Nebula's like, oh, is this or a tree? So, which is cool because old Gamora would have never let Quill touch her. Yeah. So yeah, cool callbacks like that. So anyway, Thanos ends up getting the gauntlet back, puts it on, and you think he's, oh shit, what's gonna stop him? Captain Marvel shows up. They start throwing down a couple of times. He's about to snap it right as she stops it. They start fighting. It's pretty close fight.
The thing that was awesome with this is because of what you got from Infinity War with him snapping, and you're not expecting him to snap and actually get all the stones and do everything and get to that snap. He gets the gauntlet like I just had a feeling like
you were scared.
Like what's he? No, he can't get like this is the ending. Like it. And and then of course Captain Marvel comes, and then he gets her off him, and then something.
Well, what I liked about that is he punches her.
Oh yeah,
and like nothing happened.
He headbutts her.
What's that?
Was that a
headbutt?
It was a headbutt.
Oh yeah, headbutt. But it was like she's like what?
She just looks
like
at
that. So he goes, oh shit, and grabs the power stone. That's what with her.
How smart was that?
That was very
that
smart
was
for Thanos to grab the power stone and miss her, and she's out, and then he puts it back in, and he goes to do another snap, and then.
Well, yeah. Before we get to the triumphant end, we're jumping all over now. So Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange shows back up, obviously, and Tony's like, you saw this happen 14 million times. Tell me this is the one where we win. And he's like, if I tell you, it's not gonna happen. Also, an emotional reunion with Peter Parker. He swings back in.
No, that's I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say it yet.
So he swings back in. He's like, Mr. Stark. He's like, oh, do you remember when we were in space and all of a sudden I got all tipsy? I think I fainted.
You weren't there.
And Doctor Strange is like, it's been 5 years. We gotta go. And like Tony's just looking at him, like emotional, just gets him and hugs him. And so the thing that kind of also prompted
This is nice.
The thing that prompted him to even start working on the time travel, because he said no. He flat out said no to all the Avengers before.
What's the boy?
He looked up at a picture of him and Peter. And one of the first things out of his mouth when he saw Tony or when he saw Cap was, I lost the kid. And so this is like, oh my god, like he righted the wrong, he brought this kid back, you know what I mean? And so it meant everything to him. So, come back to where we are. Thanos has the stones again. Fucking, he power shots fucking Captain Marvel. Tony runs up on him, tries fighting him, fucking Thanos backhands him. He's like, no, you guys don't understand, I'm inevitable. Then like Doctor Strange looks at Tony and he just does this, like one. I think signifying that this is the one that we win. You know what I mean? So Tony jumps back at Thanos, gets a hold of the gauntlet, tries to stop him from snapping. Like, really easily, Thanos just kind of smacks him away, and he's like, why won't you understand? I am inevitable.
It's just a snap.
Nothing.
Nothing that happens.
And then you turn and look, Gauntlet doesn't have the stones in it.
Again, the feeling was like, shit, he snapped.
Turns and looks, Tony has the stones in his armor, in his glove, wrapping around it, and then he gives the best fucking line ever. Total callback to the end of the original Iron Man. He looks at him and he's like, yeah? I am Iron Man. Bam!
Oh, man.
Fuck, that was good! Oh my god, so...
All of Thanos' army just starts turning into dust. That's what that snap does. Everybody that's Thanos' army just starts fading away. Yeah.
Words cannot adequately describe how powerful of a moment that was, how much impact it had, how like just the total callback of it to the original like line in the first movie in the MCU that kicked this all off was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it made total sense. And it was Tony Stark, like they all have hero moments, it was a team effort, but for him to be the one that got to do it, Thanos sits down, dusts away, just fades. So they killed Thanos twice in this movie. Fucking, it's insane. So now, like, we're triumphant, our heroes have won, except Tony's pretty wrecked. The snap hurt Thanos, it hurt Hulk, and it's killing Tony. So now we have a very emotional scene where he's damn near catatonic, can't really talk, sits down. Peter comes up to him, crying. Yeah, this is where I got choked up at this. I got tears.
I'm right now, like, I'm thinking about it. Like,
Peter's like, Mr. Stark, we won. Like, we won, you did it. He's crying, he's breaking down. Pepper comes in, moves him away, leans in, says, you did it, we won. Now you can rest. And then, like, the arc reactor.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So two things about this for me. One thing, I think the foreshadowing with Doctor Strange where he says, I can't tell you or it's not going to happen. I think what he was saying is, I can't tell you how this ends, or you're going to think too much about your wife and your daughter and everything.
You won't react.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I think, and then also, for me, for him to die, for him to be the one that died in this right here, kind of bookends this entire saga. It started with Iron Man, and he's the one who saves the day at the end and dies. But it just bookends.
It does.
From
a narrative standpoint, from a ridiculously long, huge, gigantic narrative standpoint, it makes perfect sense.
I love how they use the arc reactor, even though he didn't need it anymore.
That's to symbolize.
But they use that to symbolize, because in the beginning, like you said, with that bookending, that's how he needed to survive with that. And so it's like, oh my gosh.
So yeah, it made so much sense for so many reasons. So now we cut to Tony's funeral, which they're having, and so we see a message that he recorded before they actually go on the time heist. So now Pepper, Happy, his kid, and all that, they're watching this now at the funeral, and it's Tony talking about the chance they're gonna take and like everything's gonna be okay, but just in case, Says a bunch of neat shit, but the big thing that he says at the end of it, he's talking to his daughter. He's like, "I love you 3,000."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And they're just like, and again, I don't even have kids. I was like, whoa, boy, that's...
For me, the second time I watched this, the 3 times that it got me was when Captain America got Millionaire. He, that got me the second time. When everybody started showing up for the battle, that got me. And when, during that hologram thing, when he's talking to his daughter and says, I love you 3,000, that got me too. Those are the 3 things that hit me just as strong the second time I watched it as the first.
I concur. So we see the funeral, which is really cool. It pans like up the dog, and you see basically everybody in their basically the groups of their movies. The Guardians are all together. You know, Hope Van Dyne's there with her dad, with Scott, with his daughter. You know, everybody's like in their groups. Aunt May's there with Peter. We see, Nick Fury and people that I didn't notice the first time I saw there. Like I did see Maria Hill. I did see Thunderbolt Ross. People that Aunt May, people that I didn't notice the first time because I was too busy looking at everything. And that was also really cool. The way the music was playing and the way that it was panning and coursing through everything. Also was kind of, I don't know if this was on purpose, but Tony's dead. He's where it started. Now look at everything we have though. Look at this universe that we built from these heroes to these heroes to these. Like it's gigantic now.
Yeah. And the Guardians of the Galaxy don't know how to dress for a funeral. That's
we're black kind of.
We were wearing black, but
when it pans to the kid, a lot of people are noticing the kid that's standing there behind Scarlet Witch and those guys in that group, and they're wondering why did it stay a second or two on that kid longer? Like, who is this kid?
Some random looking teenager.
So honestly, we had to look it up ourselves because we're like, who is that?
Yeah.
So you guys have to remember Iron Man 3. It's the kid that helped Tony build his suit or get the stuff to get his suit together in that little barn or garage or whatever.
Yeah, called him the mechanic.
It was that kid that helped Tony. It's like now he's older and he's there.
I thought that was stupid. Like, how the fuck they gonna let this kid just roll up on an Avengers funeral? Like, he doesn't have a big.
He just did all this work
and
fought this battle. And now you're just doing shit.
Yeah, I thought that was dumb. But whatever, callback. They're trying to call back to the movies, so for the most part, they work.
I just want to let people know who they
Yeah,
are.
that's exactly who that was. So now we start wrapping up a bit more. Now we're kind of going off to see closure points. Thor is back at New Asgard and appoints Valkyrie to be the new king, or queen, I should say, the new ruler. And she's like, where are you gonna go? He's like, I don't know, but I have a ride. We cut to Rocket and the Milano. He gets on the ship and he's gonna go be a guardian of the galaxy now. He says, we returned, the Asgardians of the galaxy.
Where him transforming from the first couple Thor movies where he's more stoic and more serious and didn't really have as much a sense of humor to where within Thor Ragnarok into this where he has a sense of humor. That's what kind of glides him right into Guardians of the Galaxy.
And that's why I was trying to explain to people about Ragnarok.
Yeah.
They're like, well, the other Thors weren't like this. Well, you got to understand, so in the next movie after Ragnarok, he's going to be in the Infinity Wars, would probably be with the Guardians. He needs to kind of mesh a little bit.
And
has to be some chemistry.
he bridges the gap.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and there is perfect chemistry.
That's the thing. And so
the interaction between him and Quill about who's in charge is perfectly written, perfectly acted, and hysterical.
Quill's like, just so we know everybody's in charge, it's me. He's like, of course.
Of course.
It's me. He's like, sure it is.
It's just,
that works. And if he's going to be in Guardians 3, that's fantastic. It makes total sense.
Yeah.
That makes me want to watch Guardians 3 even more now.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of emotional.
I
think about the hologram with Tony.
Yeah, the hologram
because
with
with
Tony.
that, also with Happy sitting outside with his daughter.
Oh, the cheeseburger.
She wants a cheeseburger. He's like, your dad loved cheeseburgers, so I'll get you all the cheeseburgers you want.
Yeah, total emotion. And callback to Iron Man 1 when he wanted a cheeseburger. So that happens. So now we have Steve's there with Bucky and Falcon, and he has all the Infinity Stones, and he's going to go return them to their points in history. He also has Mjolnir, which
the other thing I called right now. This is the other thing I called.
Prevailing theory, yeah.
Totally said this was going to happen, and now we're going to go into it.
So Bucky is.
Well, we forgot to say that Captain America goes to take the stones back.
He was just saying that. I'm leading into that.
I didn't know that you actually said that. No. Okay. Good. Yes, Captain America going to take the stones back, as Captain Mal had said. Okay.
So
carry on.
He's going to take the stones back, and Mjolnir, which I assume he's returning, so it's right for place and time.
Yeah.
He's
fond of it. Yeah.
And so I think Winter Soldier knew what he was going to do because he's like, I'm going to miss you. And they're like, he's coming right back in 10 seconds. What the hell? So he leaves. They go to bring him back. He doesn't come back. Falcon's freaking out. They're like, what the hell? Get him back, get him back. Winter Soldier turns and looks and sees an old dude just sitting, looking into the lake. And you're like, fuck, it's old Steve Rogers. So he tells Sam to go ahead. He walks over, and it's
and I had already said in our trailer, he's going to go back there and stay. He's not coming back.
So Sam's like, did something go wrong or did something go right? And freaking Cap's like, old Cap is like, I decided to get a piece of that, that life that Tony was talking about. And he's like, but I brought you something. Opens up, has a Captain America shield. He's like, try it on. And Sam holds it. He's like, how does it feel? He's like, it feels like someone else's. And he's like, well, it isn't. Passing to the torch moment did happen where it sets up for Falcon to become the new Captain America. There's a lot of speculation as to who would be the new Captain America if Cap died or stayed in the past, because both he and the Winter Soldier have done it in the comics. Mm-hmm. I was hoping they'd go Falcon. I think they made the right call going Falcon. Yeah. What do you guys think about Falcon over the Winter Soldier?
I think that's good.
I think because it's more, honestly, because they went so meta with everything, that's Falcon now.
Yeah, Falcon's still, is he the current Captain America?
Yeah,
right? So yeah, that was great. And so then Sam asks Cap to tell him, will you tell me about her? And he's like, no, I don't think I will. Then it just fades to presumably the 1940s, pans into a house, you hear a really old song playing, and you see Cap and Peggy dancing, and then they kiss, and it ends there.
It's the dance.
Which is great because he finally got his dance that he didn't get at the end of Captain America. So, that was the movie. Holy shit, that was a lot of movie. I know we skipped a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about. No post-credit scene, nothing like that, which is great because this really suits the movie as being an ending to this saga. Every expectation that I have is not only met and blown away. I think Tony dying and Cap going back to live out a life, finally being able to not be a soldier anymore with the woman he loves was perfect for both of those. Really surprised Black Widow died, didn't see that coming, but again, it suits the character.
Which they've been really hyping a movie led by her coming up, and so I don't know.
Speculation if that's going to be before she became an Avenger, or
Could
how
be.
the hell it's going to happen. But once you introduce time travel, you can like there's lots of avenues you can do.
What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
No.
What's the planet where the Soul Stone is?
Boromir.
Okay. So the snap happens and brings everybody back. What if she's stuck on the planet because she doesn't have a ride?
Well, it wouldn't bring her back because, yeah, I think she's gonna stay.
I'm just being stupid. Yeah. It was,
That's
why I said
so this movie,
thinking about it, like
this movie exceeded my expectations. It set a new bar for
Oh,
what
yeah.
I believe a comic book movie can be.
yes.
Some DC executives saw this and then promptly jumped off a fucking building. Yeah.
If only we could have stayed the course.
Yeah.
This could have been us. Yeah.
This video's probably gone really long. It was fantastic. It was great.
Yeah.
It was beyond anything I could have possibly imagined. It was better than I wanted it to be, better than I hoped it could be. And I've never had expectations so high for a movie that have not only been met but fucking shattered.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
I can't wait for this to
It's
come
the
out
best.
on Blu-ray and then watch this and Infinity War and this back to back because it really feels like part 2 of a 2-part movie.
5.5 hour movie.
Yeah. Okay. Closing thoughts. I feel like we covered almost everything.
Awesome. Amazing.
The
Spectacular.
best. You'll see it several times.
Yeah.
Like me.
And me.
I'm probably gonna see it again too because my son wants to see it. So he was like, "What movies do I have to watch?" So
Go see it on the biggest screen you could find.
Yes, do
Dolby,
it before it's
IMAX, whatever the fuck, D-Box, 40X.
I'm
do
glad
it all
that we
day.
were part of the freaking 60 million made in one day.
Yeah.
60 million on just Thursday.
That's
When I
pretty
read
good.
that, I was like, "Holy crap!"
We were a part of the record-breaking opening weekend twice.
Yeah.
Because we're in
That's
there.
right.
Yes.
Okay.
Go watch this movie.
Like and subscribe,
Always.
right?
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the world's greatest news and reviews. Please like and subscribe. We just lost half our fan base. Now we only have 5 fans.